For Algebra 1 for adding and subtracting polynomials. We're going to talk about what a polynomial and a monomial are. And the first thing we're going to do is we're actually just going to dive into a problem. We're going to find the degree of a monomial. A couple terms that we see here. We have and that's the issue here. It has to do with terms and how we're going to discuss how many terms we have and what a term actually is within a mathematical expression. So we have these two terms, right? And by terms, these two pieces of vocabulary words, polynomial and monomial. If you guys recall monomial, right? Mono meaning one, like monopoly. There's one owner for everything. And then there's polynomial. You guys have learned the word, I'm sure, in middle school or in your religion class, the polytheists, right? Somebody who believes in many gods. So this is the key, is this one versus many. A monomial has one term versus a polynomial has multiple terms. So let's just take a singular mathematical expression. We're just going to talk about the number 5 to start with. And we're going to talk about what the degree of this polynomial is. And the degree of just the number 5 is 0. It's of the 0 degree. When we have just a lone variable, it is like x, that is of the first degree. Okay? And then maybe you can figure this out by now that we have y squared. This is of the second degree. Now here's what the rule is. It has to do with and where we're going to find our and I think kind of the shortcut in the rules for finding the degree. So just to kind of guarantee that we're getting these problems correctly. When we have the number 5 right here, what's not written but implied is this is like 5 times x to the 0 power. That 0 is your degree. So it has to do with the number of the highest exponent that is expressed. Now there isn't one expressed because x to the 0 is just 1, or even right, because we have to talk about this with regard to a variable being expressed with it. And if we're not expressing that variable, it's because it's the same as 1, which is, again, it's going to work out as an identity, right? 5 times 1 being just 5. So there we go. Versus like here, x, this is like x to the first power. That's why we have that as the first degree, okay? So let's try out a little bit more, and I'm going to really throw you a curve here on this next one. So we're going to have negative 1/2 x squared y squared. We can disregard that coefficient or that the first part here, just the numerical portion preceding the variable is negative 1/2. Okay, all we're going to worry about are the exponents. Now this is not a second degree, this is actually a fourth degree polynomial. I think you probably have correctly put together the way that you would calculate that is that we have an exponent 2 and another exponent 2 for the different variable, and 2 plus 2 being 4. And yet one more. Let's do 8c to the 5th power. This is a 5th degree polynomial. Very straightforward, right? We're just going to take that exponent 5 and bring that down. All right, next, some things that are not monomials. Everything that we just worked with up there was a monomial. It was a single term. Here we go. X plus 5 is not a monomial. The reason why? There's no degree. And the reason there is no degree, it's because it's a polynomial. Poly, right? Oops, I'm trying to spell that incorrectly. Polynomial. Goodness, I'm having a difficult time with the electronic pen here. Poly, meaning many, in this case, the many being more than 1 is 2. We have 2 terms. They're being separated by that plus sign. So when we multiply it, it's considered to be part of the same term, but if we add and subtract is how we're going to separate these terms, okay? Then we'll have another one, not a monomial, 2 divided by x, okay? It has a variable in the denominator. And I'm going to give you the reason why that doesn't work shortly here. But think about how we get rid of the variable in the denominator. Well, we could express it in the numerator by changing the exponent, right? This is the same thing, would be like 2 times x to the negative 1, right? And that's one of the issues. We actually can't do that, right? If I have x to the negative 2, that is has a negative exponent. So that's not a monomial. Okay? And then last but not least, we're going to have 2 raised to the x power. And again, that's not going to be a monomial, and that's because there's a variable in the exponent. So these are going to be exclusions when we have that kind of singularly written thing. In fact, this guy's not even singularly written, it's a polynomial. So going back to what we had discussed previously, the idea of a polynomial is that it has many terms, okay? And I'm going to discuss 2 specific types of polynomials that we're going to become very familiar to us in our course here. Here's one, x plus 5. This is a polynomial, okay? And it has 2 terms. Let's separate this a little bit more. And then here's another one, x squared plus 5x minus 6. And this has 3 terms. Again, all of these are separated. These are monomials separated by a plus or minus. Okay? 2 terms. Think about things that we pedal, okay? Things that we pedal for polynomials. What do you call the thing you pedal with 2 wheels? It's a bicycle, right? Bi meaning 2, so this is a binomial. The thing that you pedal with 3 wheels is a tricycle. 3 wheels. This, with 3 terms, is a trinomial. Tri meaning 3, like triangle, of course, right? Has 3 sides and 3 angles. Triangle. All right, so we're going to discuss what standard form is, which is the form we're going to go for. It's not always given to us this way, but what we're going to strive to do in standard form is we're going to write in the order of what's called descending degree. Okay, so here, what we're going to do, we're going to write negative 8 plus 9x squared minus 2x in standard form. Okay, and how we're going to do that? Well, what's the highest degree? And it's this guy, right? 9x squared. So that's the first guy. So we have 3 terms, right? It's a trinomial. First term, we're going to write 9x squared. Next, descending degree. So this guy is degree 2. Next one, of the last 2 that are there, I have negative 8 and I have a negative 2x. Well, this is what goes next, right? Negative 2x, if I'm going to descending degree, because this is degree 1. And of course, last but not least, is that negative 8. That is degree 0. That is your answer in descending degree or standard form. Again, this is a trinomial. It is 3 terms.
Yeah, use the bathroom, Mr. Hey, yo, you're not it. Sorry, I think the last of us. Mr. Granados.
Sorry for that delay. Next, we're going to do this next few problems using a couple different methods here. There's a vertical method and there is a horizontal method. Here it is. We're going to find the sum. We're going to find the sum between 3x squared plus 4x plus 3 plus 2x plus 5x squared plus 1. Make sure that you provide those parentheses. Okay, so here is the vertical method. We're just going to choose one of the two. You're going to find what works best for you and just use that. I don't really have any skin in the game of which one you prefer. So again, writing this guy in descending degree, I have 3x squared plus 4x plus 3. I'm going to write the other one in descending degree as well, right? Where I'm going to have plus 5x squared plus 2x plus 1. And then now I have these guys stacked. It's actually just adding. It's just like adding when I have like a 3-digit number, right? So I'm going to say 3x squared plus 5x squared is 8x squared, right? 4x plus 2x is 6x, and 3 plus 1, of course, is 4. And there we go. There's your answer. And we're going to want to make sure that we line these guys up where these are going to match, right, in terms of what type of term that I have, right? I'm going to match up the x squareds with the x squareds and the x's with the x's, right? And that's just going to be standard procedure for us. The reason that we're going to do that is the same reason that, when you add, 313 plus 101, you put the 1, the 0, and the 1, right, underneath each of those, place values. And also, I always, remind people of this. When you go to the supermarket, you tend to not just see all the food just kind of mixed together, right? Things are organized. You find the meat in the meat section, you find the vegetables in the vegetable section. And then even more specifically that you're going to find in the vegetable section, you'll find carrots separated from lettuce, separated from peppers, et cetera, et cetera. So we need to make sure that we're doing this in a uniform manner. 3x squared, I'm going to show you guys now the horizontal method. Some of you guys are going to prefer this over writing it vertically. And again, I have no skin in the game. 2x plus 5x plus 1. Now, take a look. I'm going to just disregard these parentheses. Now, because I have a positive here, I'm going to make sure that that positive applies to all of those terms, which it doesn't change any of them. So I'm just going to drop all these parentheses. And now I'm going to match the things that have the same, make sure I rewrite this guy appropriately. I'm going to match the terms, right, with the degree and with the matching variables. So 3x squared and 5x squared, I'm going to just give it 1 underline. 4x and 2x, I'm going to give 2 underlines. And the last guy, I'm just going to circle it, right? And then I'm going to combine those terms. 3x squared and 5x squared is 8x squared. 4x and 2x, when it combined together, is 6x. And then 3 plus 1, of course, is 4. So it doesn't really matter which way you do it. It's the same answer. It doesn't matter to me. Just do it whatever way is going to be right for you. Okay, I have a negative 5a squared plus a plus 2 plus 2a squared minus a minus 9. Okay, first, let's do it the vertical way. So negative 5a squared plus a plus 2 plus, and right underneath it, 2a squared, a negative a, and a negative 9. And then I'm just going to combine my terms. Negative 5a squared, right, and 2a squared, that's going to be a negative 3a squared. A and negative a is going to cancel. And then 2 and negative 9 is going to be a negative 7, and that's going to be your answer. A minus a, I don't need to write 0, it's just implied. Or, if I had done it vertically, right, or horizontally rather than vertically, negative 5a squared plus a plus 2, okay, plus 2a squared minus a minus 9. Again, drop the parentheses. That positive is unaffected or does not affect all of those terms inside of the parentheses for 2a squared minus a minus 9 for that trinomial. Combine. Negative 5a squared, positive 2a squared is a negative 3a squared. A and negative a cancels, it's 0. 2 minus 9 is negative 7. Same exact answer. All right, let's do some of these with subtraction. So I have 2 examples with subtraction, and then we're finished. So we have 3y squared plus 8 minus 6y squared plus 4y minus 2. Okay. So let's stack them. 3y squared plus 0y plus 8. Hold on, I don't see a 0. What's 0 times y? 0. It's this. Guys, if I just was adding, again, 313 plus 101, I wouldn't just do plus 11, right? 101, I'd have to account for the tens place, right? So the same thing here. I have to account for that y in descending degree. 2, 1, right? And then degree of 0. Minus in this case, okay? And we have my 6y squared plus my 4y minus my 2. My negative 2 over here. And then I'm going to go term by term. 3y squared minus 6y squared is a negative 3y squared. 0y minus positive 4y is a negative 4y. And I have an 8, but this is a minus minus, right? Minus minus 2 is going to be plus 2. So 8 plus 2 is 10. So make sure that we apply that negative appropriately inside. Or we can do it this way. We have 3y squared plus 8 minus 6y squared plus 4y minus 2. Right? And drop the parentheses for the first one. Now, if I drop the parentheses here, I have to change all of my signs, okay? So I'm going to drop it, but this guy's going to become a minus. This guy's going to become a plus. My positive 6y became a negative anyway. And then I'm going to start combining my terms. I have a 3y squared minus 6y squared is a negative 3y squared. I have a negative 4y and I have no other y's, so I just copy down negative 4y. Then I have a 8 and a positive 2, and that will give me a positive 10. That is my answer. Notice that no matter which method that I choose, the vertical stacking or the horizontal method, I get the same exact answer. So just find the method that works best for you. Included on your homework, you're going to get an assignment here where it's going to tell you to use each method. I don't care that you do that. I actually just care that you do the answer, or get the answer and do the problem correctly. You can choose whichever way that you like, now and forever. The most common method used, for the record, mathematically, is actually the horizontal method. It's kind of the most shorthand. So let's go ahead and stack, right? 12t squared plus 5. Why did I put y? Goodness. That's a typo. My apologies. Plus 5t minus 7. And then I have subtracting. And I have to use my parentheses. And recopy down negative 4t squared plus 3t minus 1. Okay? So I have a 12 minus 4, right? So that's going to be 16, and these are t squareds. Why do I keep messing up the variables? That's a t, not an x. I have a 5t minus 3t, and that's going to be a 2t. And then I have a 7 minus 1, and that's going to be 7 plus 1, which is negative 6. That's your answer. And of course, what does it look like? Well, if I had gone 12t squared plus 5t minus 7, right? That's in parentheses, minus negative 4t squared plus 3t minus 1. And if I go here to do the horizontal method and I disregard my parentheses, remember, I have to distribute my negative effectively. Let me actually illustrate that. That's going to go into every single term. So I'm going to get rid of this. He's going to be a positive. He becomes a negative, and he becomes a positive. So then let's start matching terms. 12t squared, 4t squared, 5t, negative 3t, negative 7, positive 1. 12 and 4, 16, t squared. 5 and negative 3, 2t, negative 7, positive 1, negative 6, and we're done. So choose whatever method works best for you. When you do complete any of those problems, you do not need to be restricted to doing one or the other. You may try both if you'd like as you do your assignment. But going forward, I have no preference for which method that you choose to do. Good luck.